up, guys? This is Derek and Dean back with the Double D podcast. This is episode 6. We got to talk about what happened last week with our picks, and there's a bunch of news that's going on in the NFL and all types of sports, and let's talk about it today. Starting off, we got to talk about our Week 5 picks, and I think, Dean, you should start off because you're just not good at this, and it's just fun to hear you speak.
Yeah, no, I'm really just not good at this. I think it's continuously showing as to why I quit betting. What is it now? Almost 3 years ago. So I'm going to continue to try to improve, but I'll start off with my one and final loss of the Patriots. I promise to all viewers and including to myself that I will never be betting on the Patriots again. I did say third time's a charm. Well, let's just put it, I was wrong once again. I took the Patriots -1. They just completely lost outright to the Dolphins. The Patriots continue to be anemic on offense, which we'll get to in a bit, but which obviously did lead to the change that is upcoming this week where Drake May will be starting. But yeah, the Patriots are no longer going to be within my wheelhouse, and I will stay away from them as long as I live.
Good. That's very smart of you. I'm going to start with my one loss that I had. Let me say it again. My one loss. I went bold. I picked the Saints +5 because I thought maybe the Chiefs haven't been playing so good. I thought it would be a close game. As was I wrong. It was very wrong, I'd say. Even though at the time of the game, if the spread was involved, I would have won. But it's fine. That was kind of a risk. But the Saints they played horrible against the Chiefs, in my opinion. They could have played a lot better. Not much offense produced by them when they had so many opportunities. And Patrick Mahomes, once again, won a game. 300 yards passing, 1 interception, no touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think it was a terrible pick considering we've talked about it on the podcast that the Chiefs haven't blown anybody out of the water this year, and Mahomes still isn't playing up to his godlike potential. Still not a single touchdown on Monday night, but still, once again, the Kansas City Chiefs prove that they are the reigning Super Bowl champs and they get wins done in multiple ways. But I'll just go into my second pick, which was yet another loss. I took the Bills -1. I really did think they were going to get back on track after they had a very, very rough week 4, but once again, I was wrong. The Houston Texans did pull it out. They won by 3. They won outright. So that's 2 teams in a row that I've taken who were projected to win, yet completely lost outright. So we're really looking good here, and I'm still trying to find my footing clearly.
Let's just say, people who are watching this, whatever Dean pick the opposite and put your house on it.
It's seeming to be that way, unfortunately.
Because honestly, I might for your picks this week, I might do the opposite of what you're doing and then place a bet. And if
Great.
it hits, I'll give you a little portion of it.
Fantastic.
All right, so I think this game we picked. You picked the Bills and I picked the Texans. I took the Texans plus the points,
Yep.
plus the 1 point. They didn't need the 1 point. They won by a field goal. So they They started off very strong. Towards the end of the game, it got a little dicey because a lot of immaturity from, I'd say, C.J. Stroud throwing an interception when he didn't have to, forcing the ball when he doesn't have to. But they won the game. Kaimi Fairbairn kicked I think it was a 57-yard field goal, 58-yard field goal to solidify the game.
58 to win the game, yeah.
To win the game. Good.
59 actually.
Clutch kicker, made it when you need him. Obviously, it's easier when you're in a dome, but still. It's a clutch kick, and it was a good win by them.
Agreed. I will go on to my next pick, which was actually my one win of the week.
Hey!
So yeah, damn right. So I'm going to take my little victory lap here. I took the Green Bay Packers -3.5. They made it way too close against a Rams team that has absolutely nobody on offense in terms of receiving the ball. The Green Bay Packers did win by 5, so they covered the spread. That's really all that matters here. I did indeed pick a winner. Jordan Love looks better. Still definitely trying to gain his mobility back since the ankle injury in week 2. However, like I said, he does look better, and I think they're going to continue to improve. I'm very glad that I at least got one pick this week correct. thank the heavens, because if I go 0 for 4, well, that's just going to be an unfortunate circumstances on this podcast.
Yeah, that would be fucking tragic. Yeah, only thing like that I would say about like that game is that obviously Jordan Love made his own little meme out of himself by throwing a pretty much going to the ground sidearm throw
He
interception.
did.
He pulled a Will
At that
Levis.
point, yeah, he really did at that point, and he'll learn it. I mean, look, he's still a young quarterback, but he'll learn it at that point when you're pretty much getting dragged down. You just have to kind of take the safety and get on with it. It's better to give up 2 points than it is 6 points. So that wasn't exactly a unfortunate circumstances, but hey, they covered.
Yeah,
That's all that
yeah,
matters.
you're right. You're right. Well, going on with my next pick, which was shocking, another win. I picked the
Fuck off.
Ravens. I picked the Ravens. I think it was minus the points, minus 2.5. They covered by a field goal once again. When everyone thought in the nation that the Ravens were going to lose that game, but then McPherson misses the field goal. My opinion wasn't his fault. It was the holder's fault. He dropped the ball, and then McPherson had like a millisecond to kick it from when it was actually like standing upright. So hard kick to make. My opinion, that was the game of the week by far. A lot of electrifying moments back and forth. Well, even though the Ravens were down by 10, I believe, they still came back, fought back. What Lamar proved how good this motherfucker is, and he won the game.
Yeah, it was an impressive win for the Ravens. I think the Bengals just really have to find themselves these next couple of weeks, going down to 1-4. You're running out of time, especially in that division. I realize that the Steelers lost, and we're not going to talk too much about the Cleveland Browns because they're just absolutely fucking garbage. But the Steelers did lose for them, which was a big one, at least to keep the Bengals within arm's reach of anything having to do with the division, because both now the Ravens and the Steelers are 3-2. But the Bengals are going to really have to kick it up these next couple of weeks and win. But they're a good team. They proved it. Burrow, he's still got it. Almost 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. The guy's a stud. I do expect them to bounce back. But once again, Derek, you cover by half a point. Go fuck yourself.
Yes,
Nice
sir.
pick.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh,
I will tragically go into my quote unquote lock of the week here.
I forgot what it was, but I feel like it's gonna be fucking hilarious.
I got my ass fucked against my own team.
Oh,
The
yes.
New York Giants somehow went into Seattle and pulled out a dub without Malik Neighbors, basically just running the ball with Tyrone Tracy. Just a very, very shocking turn of events. The Giants win by 9.
Yeah.
Technically, you can say that they won by 6 because they did block a field goal at the end to bring it back for a touchdown. My apologies, win by 3. But, however, they blocked the field goal to put it into overtime. They took it back for a touchdown. Not going to lie, a very impressive and shocking win for the Giants. I'm really still kind of comprehending on how they did it. The defense continues to look like the strong point of the Giants that we knew they were going to be. Their defensive front continues to play well. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they sacked Geno Smith 7 times, and they got pressure to him almost every single play. So the defensive front continues to impress, continues to be one of the best in the NFL, which is carrying them in games because all the offense has to do is really not make mistakes. And gonna give Daniel Jones a little bit of props here. He didn't make any mistakes.
Shocking.
250, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. That's really what you have to do when you have a defense really showing out for you, and he did it. Tyrone Tracy, phenomenal on the run game. Darius Slayton just absolutely fucking having himself a game with Malik Neighbors out. But I think this more goes to Seattle Seahawks when, they're obviously a team that actually has some sort of want to be in the playoffs. That was just a very underwhelming performance from all of them. And of course, my lock of the week goes the other way. But yeah, we'll work to be better next week. I clearly can't even bet against my own team at this point.
You stupid, stupid man.
Well, going back to last week, I think when we were talking about our picks, I did say I said that if Malik Neighbors played, you would have won the game, and if he didn't, you would have lost the game. I was wrong. He didn't have to play.
You
He
were.
still won the game.
Somehow, yeah. I mean, Look, I really have nothing more to say. The defensive line really was great in that game, and the Seattle Seahawks, very disappointing loss at home. I clearly can't even. I can't bet on anything at this point. So
No, you really can. Well,
I'll try to be better.
well, to go on to my lock, I think it was an easy lock, is the Washington Commanders. They're fucking hot right now. They're unstoppable. They look unstoppable. Their
Yep.
offense is firing on all cylinders. Jaden Daniels is just going off.
Hmm.
Throwing it's ridiculous. He's running the ball well, throwing the ball well. He doesn't even have to throw as many touchdowns because their defense this year is just insane.
Hmm.
I don't know if you were watching when I don't know who it was. Actually, the whole defensive line knocked down the Cleveland Browns offensive line and pretty much sacked them by their offensive line.
Yeah, look, I mean, like you just said, the Commanders are a very hot team. 3 straight games with 34 plus points, which is very impressive, especially with a rookie quarterback and a new head coach at the helm. So
Yeah,
nothing really more to say there. It also just shows that it continues to be an absolute shit show in Cleveland.
oh,
Deshaun Watson is fucking horrific. I was watching some of that game, and my God, Deshaun Watson, it actually looks like his receivers want to commit seppuku right there on the field. So it's not a pretty sight. And once again, I believe it was yesterday, their coach already confirmed that Watson is not going anywhere, which you really don't have a choice until it gets later in the year because they're paying him so much. So very unfortunate scenes in Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't know if this I think it was I saw it their Instagram today, where I don't know if it was true or not, but if it is true, it's fucking hilarious. Stephen A. saying that if Deshaun Watson were to get arrested, it would be for how bad he's playing.
It's so awful that if somebody wanted to arrest him for being awful, I would accept it.
I mean, at this point, yes, completely agree. Minus the rub and tugs, but we've talked about that almost every week, so we'll move past
Every
it.
time we mention them, we talk about his rubbing dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Browns are just not a good team. If I'm them, I don't even know if they have any picks. I would just tank and then just go for a top 5 pick and hope for a good quarterback that comes out of that draft class. Because with what I'm seeing, Deshaun Watson is pitiful.
It's looking to be that way. You're going to have no choice because at this point in the season, right, they're 1-4. Based on their division, they have absolutely no chance of going anywhere making the playoffs. So you have a couple of options here. You can just completely continue to tank. And I think that honestly is just leaving Deshaun Watson in because the guy's horrific.
Oh, yeah. He's fucking horrible.
Or by the end of the year, they're going to be a very middle of the pack team. Let's just say they have 6-7 wins and they'll have for example, maybe an 8-10 pick, which isn't going to be great for them. But you're right. They may have to take a quarterback.
Yeah, it's very bad. I feel bad for Browns fans because they're never happy. They just don't get happiness. But hey,
I mean, good Lord, they don't deserve it with him as quarterback.
Yeah, and I feel bad for all the young like Myles Garrett. He's wasting his career there, in my opinion. I think he's wasting his career there. Same as fucking all those young rookies who are coming like Denzel Ward. They're fucked.
Yeah. Well, look, there's always hope for next year when you get a new quarterback into there, some things just change. Maybe the culture changes. Maybe you just straight up try to get rid of Deshaun Watson after this year and just eat the fucking contract. It's all possible at this point because there's no way in hell he will be your starting quarterback next year.
Oh, fuck no. No way in hell he's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yep.
Well, moving on from these picks, I want to talk about this a little bit, is the upsets that happened this week. One upset that stood out to me was the Cardinals beating the Niners.
Yeah.
I know it's a divisional game and all divisional games are expected to be close, but I did not expect at all the Cardinals to win that football game.
I mean, all you have to say here is at halftime, the San Francisco 49ers were up 23-10. They had a 13-point lead going into halftime, and they didn't score a single point in the second half.
Yeah.
That's abysmal.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any excuses, to be honest, after that. You don't score a singular point
with that
in the
offense?
entirety of this with that offense. With pretty much everybody healthy outside of CMC. I don't even want to hear the CMC excuses anymore. You still have Purdy, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, Mason, who has done a stand-up job coming in.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute anemic offense in the second half, and there really is no explanation for it if you want my opinion. Sure, the Cardinals played well in the second half. Sure, Kyler Murray continues to look decent. James Conner continues to control the run game, but there's just no excuse for scoring absolutely no points and blowing a 13 lead against a division rival when you are clearly the better team.
It's just, I was just so shocked because, like, Brock Purdy has shown that he's been a pretty good. He's not like a top 10 quarter. I don't know, but like he's a pretty good quarterback who like you could rely on to win like these type of games. But I believe he threw 2 interceptions and he fumbled once.
Yep.
That's just
It goes
good.
It goes down to literally what you just said, and we've talked about this specifically just 10 minutes ago with the Giants. The whole key is when you have a great team like that, when you have great weapons around you, a great defense, just don't make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't allow the other team to have opportunities to come back into the game, and that's exactly what the 49ers did, and that's exactly what Purdy didn't do. He made mistakes, 2 interceptions, a fumble, like you said. You can't do that. You just can't do that.
It was just bad play. Bad play by the Niners. They didn't not coached well in the second half, I'd say. And
Agreed.
It's just congrats to the Cardinals because now the division is getting closer and closer now. Because now the Niners have 2 losses, as do the Niners have 2 losses.
That division
Seahawks,
is a complete shit show.
Seahawks have 2 losses.
We thought, I think in unison, that the 49ers would run away with that division.
Oh, easily. I didn't expect this at all.
The Seattle Seahawks are in first place at 3-2 with a loss to the Giants.
Which is insane.
I mean, which is insane. And then the Cardinals, due to this head-to-head win, are now in second.
and the I didn't even know that. I completely forgot that the head-to-head. Obviously, the head-to-head takes over, so they're ahead of them.
Yep.
Oh my god.
The division record takes over. And the Arizona Cardinals now are 2-0 in the division.
Yeah, and the Seahawks and the Niners played this week.
Yep, the Seahawks and Niners play this week on Thursday night. The San Francisco 49ers are 0-2 in the division. The Cardinals are 2-0 in the division. That could be huge when it comes to playoff implications down the year when you're doing tiebreakers.
Holy shit. That's insane.
Yep.
Holy fuck.
Well, to move on from that, I can go into another upset, and I think this one was the biggest of the week, if you want my opinion. The New England Patriots. No, I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding, everybody. The New England Patriots are not good. We're not going to go there. I think the biggest upset of the week is clearly the Giants. I don't think anybody in this world saw the New York Giants without Malik Neighbors going into Seattle and beating the Seattle Seahawks. I really don't.
After the game finished, honest to God, I did a double take.
It was shocking to me.
Am I watching the right thing? Like, did this just happen? Because don't get me wrong. The Giants they have a lot of potential, but the Seahawks are just a way better team. Like
they are. The Seahawks are just a better team all around, right? Yes, you're right. The Giants really do have a lot of potential, right? Mm-hmm. I think in the next 2 years, the Giants have a legitimate shot to make a good leap and actually vie for the division, right? I truly do believe that. If you get a good quarterback in place, I truly believe you have the pieces, right?
Yeah.
You're continuously improving on your offensive line, not to mention you have an all-pro in Andrew Thomas at left tackle. Your defensive line is one of the best in the league, and they're all shored up in terms of contracts-wise. Yeah. Your secondary is continuously getting better with a lot of young corners. Your offense looks decent with Tyrone Tracy maybe becoming the running back as the year goes on. But not only that, obviously you have to mention Malik Neighbors, who is going to be a stud in this league. Mm-hmm. And I will give him his flowers over the last couple of weeks, even though we lost last week against Dallas. But I will say over the last few weeks, Dable has definitely coached a better game as well, which you can then argue maybe with a better quarterback, you do win some of these games. Maybe you win the Washington Commanders game. Maybe you win the Dallas Cowboys game, and then you flip those and you're 4-1. So I think if you do get a new quarterback in over the next couple of years, you have a chance to leap. However, we're in the present. the Seattle Seahawks are a much better team.
Mm-hmm.
They just lost to the New York Giants at their home field with the 12th man behind them.
Which is
That's
crazy.
a horrific loss. That's a horrific loss.
And plus, the fucking 100, I think it was 100-yard fumble recovery touchdown
And to start the game.
to start off the game. Dude,
Unbelievable. I saw that and I was like, yep, here we go. There it is.
Dude, I left my living room from watching the game for maybe 2 minutes. I come back, I see a touchdown on the board. I'm like, all right, this game's over. I don't have to worry about this.
And it also shows, not to dig into any Seattle fans here, but it also does show they are going to have to try to find a better quarterback than Geno Smith as well. Geno Smith didn't play bad by any means, but if Seattle's going to take that next step and maybe the years coming, I'm not sure. They're in a very weird spot, Seattle, where they can't exactly rebuild, but they're also good enough to make the playoffs at a wild card stage.
Mm-hmm.
But Geno Smith is going to have to be better. Their offensive line was horrific. Like I mentioned earlier, the Giants got to Geno and sacked him 7 times, which is becoming a trend with the Giants, right? Their defensive line truly is one of the best in the NFL, and it showed. But this was a massive upset, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, huge upset. I feel like that the only other upset, I wouldn't even say compares to it, but it's still a big upset, is the Jaguars game. The Jaguars beating, because the Jaguars have been playing very shitty. As they were the worst team in the league. I don't know what they are now. I think they might still be the worst team.
They're still pretty bad.
Yeah, but beating the Colts are playing better this season, even though Joe Flacco did play. It was a close game. It was a nail biter, only lost by a field goal, but I still think it's an upset because the way the Jaguars have been playing and the way fucking the Colts have been playing compared to the two. Don't get me wrong, the Colts had a lot of good things, like with Joshua Downs showing out, the young kid. Pittman with actually getting the ball thrown to him is actually looking like Pittman. It's just I would blame the coaching more than the players, like the way they played, if anything. Because Flacco didn't make them, like, he threw 1 interception.
No, he didn't even throw an interception. He went for 353 touchdowns, Flacco.
Oh, he didn't even throw an interception.
I think the Colts, this is only an upset because we all expected the Colts to win here because Jacksonville was 0-4 to begin the game, right? Mm-hmm. And they were looked absolutely lifeless against the Bills on that Monday night game.
Uh-huh.
Trevor Lawrence played a lot better, 372 touchdowns. He finally spread the ball around on offense. But I think the big thing here is in the fourth quarter, both teams, their defenses completely disappeared.
Oh, it didn't even exist.
The Colts scored 24 points in the fourth quarter, and Jacksonville scored 17. They were literally just slinging the ball back and forth at each other in the fourth. Yeah. No defense to be found in sight.
It's pretty much like it was just not even like practice. It was like in Madden to where you turn on like offense only in the practice mode, and you're just throwing the ball down the field pretty much. It's like there's no defense, just open field.
No, it was just like watching 2 raccoons fight over a garbage can.
Yeah, pretty fucking much. It was very bad.
It was very bad, and let's be real here though. The only reason I wouldn't exactly consider this an upset is only because neither of these teams, in my opinion, are really going to be vying for the division at the end of this year. They're in a division where the Houston Texans are absolutely, not only they're going to run away with it, they're already running away with it.
Yeah.
So they're pretty bad teams regardless on that point. However, it is still shocking that Indianapolis could have went to 3-2, at least stayed within an arm's reach of Houston, but now they shoot to 2-3, and Houston, they pull up the early 2-game lead in the division this early in the year.
Only thing that they just have to win like their division games, and they'll still have a chance. Obviously, it's still early. Anything's possible. For all you know, fucking hope this doesn't happen. CJ Stroud fucking snaps his leg or something like that, and then they could come back.
Oh, great, Derek. Yeah, that's awesome. Really, really talk that into existence.
Yeah, all right. If that happens, I'm not going to show my face. Because I don't know if you saw this, but in the TikTok and one of the TikTok's comments from one of the TikToks we posted, a guy who's a Texans fan said that he thinks that the Texans are going to win the AFC. So if I say this, I'm going to get doxxed by that guy.
Jesus. I mean, that guy, I honestly feel bad for any Texas fan out there because you're just an absolute jinx.
I hope it doesn't happen because I do like C.J. Stroud. I think he's a great quarterback. God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, I mean, Nico Collins is already going to be out a few weeks with a hammy.
That's the one. I don't know. I was gonna ask you this. What happened? Like to his was it? Did he just pull his hamstring? He's out for a couple weeks.
It was very subtle. Yeah, just a hamstring strain, going to be out a couple of weeks. They're not putting him on IR, which is definitely a good sign for Houston fans. But whenever it comes to a muscle injury, when it comes to a receiver, running back, any sort of skill position, that always takes a couple of weeks. Thankfully, if you're Houston, you don't really have to worry exactly too much about your division, especially next week when you're playing the Patriots, who you're absolutely going to fucking steamroll.
Well,
so
we don't know. We don't know.
Shut up. After what I've seen, they're getting steamrolled, the Patriots. But hopefully Nico Collins is only going to be out a couple of weeks, gets right back in there, gets ready to go, and we'll at least see some sort of life within the Texans.
I hope so because he's a young, good wide receiver. Even though that they don't, this is crazy to say, him being out for maybe 1 to 2 weeks is not going to be detrimental because they have fucking a stacked wide receiving core.
Yes, of course, but
it's still a big loss.
They're still going to miss him, yes.
Yeah. All right, so moving on from the football aspect, I want to bring it up to the baseball aspect because playoff baseball is coming around.
Woo!
And I want to hear some key moments from the wild card that just passed. Yep. We're in the ALDS right now and NLDS, so I just want to hear wild card moments from you.
Yeah, so some massive things happening in baseball for any non-baseball fans out there who are listening. The baseball season did conclude. They are in the postseason now, which is always a nice time of year. Playoff baseball, October baseball is always riveting to watch. You did have some very intriguing wild card matchups. However, if nobody knows out there, once again, the wild card matchups are best 2 out of 3, so that's typically how it goes. Only one of the 4 matchups went to a third game, and that was the Mets and Brewers, which really did exemplify the Mets season. They're continuing to be the comeback kings. They're continuing to really show out in terms of not giving up, which is great to see. Some of the biggest moments, obviously, in Game 3 with the Mets Brewers. Pete Alonso in the 8th inning, hitting a jack to put them up against Devin Williams, which was the Brewers closer. Phenomenal to watch. Obviously a huge moment for New York sports, considering we really haven't had much to cheer about over the last 10-plus years in New York here.
No.
Considering the last championship any New York of the major 4 sports team has seen was 2011 with the New York Giants. So it has been over 13-plus years now, which is depressing to say.
Jesus Christ,
but
holy shit.
But some other great moments. The Detroit Tigers, I know I mentioned it in the first week of this podcast, but them going from a 0.5% chance of making the playoffs to storming to getting the last wild card spot, and then on top of that, beating the Houston Astros back-to-back games in order to make it into the ALDS. Phenomenal story going out of Detroit here. I also didn't want to flag. I'll continue to talk about the wild card, but Detroit's already tied 1-1 with Cleveland in that series, which is in the ALDS now. So Detroit continues to be scrappy. It really is an impressive feat just based on where they were and where they are now, because nobody thought they would be here. One other thing that really proved out in the wild card series, the Kansas City Royals beating the Baltimore Orioles 2-0. Now, for not a lot of people who know this or are baseball fans, the Baltimore Orioles were the 1 seed last year and got swept last year.
Yeah.
So they have not won a playoff game in their new regime, which is shocking to say the least because they have so much young talent. Yeah. But clearly, that young talent failed them. And the Kansas City Royals are now playing the New York Yankees. For nobody who knows, in the ALDS, that series is tied 1-1, but we'll talk a little bit more about that next week when all these ALDS matchups conclude. And then the last wild card matchup, which was the Padres and the Braves. I think this one was actually what people expected. The Padres are a very good team. They beat the Braves 2-0. The Braves Yeah, they are very sneaky good. And that series is also tied 1-1 against the Dodgers in the ALDS. But the Padres are a very good team, have a very good lineup. The Braves really faltered at the end of the year. So that I don't think that one was a particular shock to anybody. But to say the least, playoff baseball has been in full effect. The crowds have been phenomenal. We've had some key moments already, like I mentioned with the Pete Alonso home run, with the Detroit
That was
Tigers taking and eliminating the Astros. It's really fun to watch. I would recommend it to anybody because this is some of the best time of the year when you have playoff baseball, when you have football in full swing, and not to mention hockey and basketball seasons are both starting. This is probably the best time of year if you're a sports fan, so would definitely recommend watching some of these playoff games.
Oh, 100%. Well, going off on like what you said, like me personally, like the key moments was probably seeing the Royals being such a young team. They obviously have their old, like the old guy, like Salvador Perez, Seth Lugo. They have a couple of veterans on their team, but seeing that young team beat the Orioles, who are a very young team too, but also they were projected to win the division, the AL East, and they swept them. I'm not saying like the Orioles are not a bad team at all. It's just like they're obviously young. They'll be fine. They'll bounce back from this whole next year.
I hope they don't.
I hope they don't because I'm a Yankee fan, but I would like to see the young kids be competitive more because obviously it sucks seeing like those young kids like let's forget Jackson Holiday was like 19 years old getting to the playoffs for the first time.
Yep.
Going to the playoffs for the first time and getting eliminated just like 1, 2, 3. But
but actually, wait, just going off that one point to you because you said how impressive the Royals look. The Royals are the first team in Major League history to lose 100 games this season before, 100 or more games, and then make it to the playoffs and win a playoff series the season after.
Which is insane. It's their team like shows like that. Like Bobby Witt had a great year this year. And he's pulling it through, obviously, in the playoffs. Salvador Perez being the veteran he is, Seth Lugo, their pitching staff, they're all like playing phenomenal together, which is good. You have good pitching, and the hitting is just, and you got like a good amount of hits, and you score like 3 runs, you can win games. That's all you need.
No, yeah, their pitching has been phenomenal. Seth Lugo, Cole Reagans, Michael Wacha, all around hovering around a 3 ERA, which is very good in baseball.
Oh yeah.
And then, like you said, Bobby Witt, the unanimous MVP if Judge wasn't alive.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, in any other year, Bobby Witt wins the MVP, but of course this year, Aaron Judge just happened to be in existence. So they are a very sneaky team. Like I mentioned, we're recording this. I'm not sure if we said, but we're recording this on Tuesday. So the Royals and the Yankees are tied 1-1 in the ALDS, and they will be playing tomorrow and then on Thursday, and then Saturday. My mistake. Some of the off days are a little bit weird when it comes to the division round. However, it'll definitely be interesting to talk about next week once we have the ALCS and the NLCS, the final 4 teams concluded.
That's exciting.
It's going to be very exciting, so I'll be excited to talk about that.
And one thing I do want to say, I'm going to ask your biased, because you're a Yankee fan, your biased opinion and your realistic opinion on what the World Series matchup is going to be.
I think I only have a very realistic opinion.
Okay.
If I'm being completely honest with you. Coming out of the AL, it should be the New York Yankees. They really don't have any excuses this year. Both the Baltimore Orioles and the Houston Astros are out of it, which were the unanimous teams to vie with the Yankees in terms of being, star power, stud power, pitching, hitting, all of that. Mm-hmm. The only other team in the AL that I could see coming out of it is the Kansas City Royals. So I think whoever wins the Yankees-Royals series is going to go to the World Series, if you want my honest opinion. And then coming out of the NL, I'm going to say the Padres. Their pitching has been outstanding. Their lineup is absolutely ridiculous. I think they're clicking on all cylinders. I think they beat the Dodgers, and then I think they beat the Mets. I think the Mets advance against the Phillies. So I'm going to go World Series, and I know this is the corniest thing ever, but you know what? It would be absolutely awesome to watch. My prediction is going to be Yankees-Padres.
All right,
West Coast versus East Coast.
I like that, and it would be crazy because one of the teams that Soto played for in the
Yep.
World Series, that would be electric if that actually
Well,
happened.
those two teams, for the people, once again, who don't know, they had a massive trade this offseason. The Yankees got this absolute stud 25-year-old in Juan Soto, and the Padres got Michael King and Higashioka, among other rookie pieces. And both of those pieces on the Padres, Michael King's actually pitching tonight for the Padres, and he has been lights out. So it clearly has been working out for both teams, and it's always exciting to watch both teams vie for that playoff spot. So it's really fun to watch.
Yeah. My opinion. Oh, obviously I'm gonna go biased and then unbiased. So biased, I think that I think the Yankees will be versing. This might be a little bold on the coming out of the NL. Is the Phillies? I know they're not playing the best right now. Like they haven't been playing the best from what like we've seen in like game one and then obviously today. So I do think that the Phillies are going to bounce back, win the next two games, and then beat the Dodgers to go back to the World Series.
I like it.
Because I don't know what it like. Their team is just so good. The Phillies, they have good pitching. Their bullpen's good. Their hitting is good. Castellanos, Harper, fucking Realmuto, Turner, their team, and fucking Kyle Schwarber. They have great hitting, and if they structure their lineup well and they hit well against the Mets, they should be able to get out of that game and then get a couple days rest and then obviously fly out to the West Coast. But
yeah, I think it's definitely going to be interesting to watch over the next week before we do the next podcast, just to see what the matchups are, and it's going to be awesome.
Oh, 100%. And the last one, I'll make it quick. Unbiased, I do, as what you said, I do think the Yankees should take it should go to that fucking World Series because the past couple of years they've been eliminated off of the pretty much Astros and the Guardians.
Well, last year they didn't make it because
Well,
they sucked ass. And then the year previous to that, they made it to the ALCS and got just absolutely swept and blown out from the Astros. The Astros has been their nemesis for the last 5+ years. So the fact that the two teams that we thought were going to be in it for the AL, the Royals and the Astros, are out in the wild card round. This is as good as an opportunity as the Yankees have had in quite a long time.
Oh yeah.
So if they don't do it this year, there's going to be some massive changes coming to the organization.
Yeah, and then coming out of the NL, I think the unbiased probably the Dodgers because their team is just insane. Let's be real, like fucking their pitching, hitting, their team is a phenomenal on all cylinders. It's just
but I don't like them.
Yeah, I don't like the Dodgers either. But let's be real, they're a great team. They should, realistically speaking, they should take the NL. They're $1.2 billion payroll, whatever the fuck it is, however much their money they're paying. They should win that. So that's my opinion.
Yep.
Moving on from this, I'm gonna switch it back to football. And I want to talk. I want to talk about Dak and CD Lamb.
Okay.
Do you see? I don't know if you watched the game on Sunday night because I know it went extremely late. But the past couple of weeks, the NFL has been panning the cameras and showing a little bit turmoil between Dak and CD. CD you see him actively screaming at Dak, and Dak just not paying attention.
Yep.
So what is your opinion on this?
I think it's a very similar situation to what we saw in Buffalo when it came to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, right? Where you paid this receiver a ton of money. Same thing with the quarterback, to be fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they're great receivers, both CD and Stephon Diggs. But to be in all fairness, they're a little bit of prima donnas.
Oh, yeah.
You saw it with Stephon Diggs where he was clearly ball hog heavy and he just wanted to get stat pad. And I think you're seeing it now with CD. The only thing that should matter in the NFL, and I think it's showing a little bit more this year when it comes to Buffalo after trading away Stephon Diggs, and they're just completely spreading the ball around and having a little bit more success. The one thing that should be clear as you want to win. I don't think it matters. Look, if I'm CD Lamb, sure, I have an ego. Sure, I'm one of the best receivers in the NFL, but I just got paid. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So what I want to go out there and do is win.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention, who else is really vying for number one receiver targets on the Dallas Cowboys other than CeeDee Lamb? So, in turn, that's going to invite double teams to you. So, I hate to break it to you, CD, no matter how good you are, if I'm a quarterback too, I'm not just going to constantly throw it into double teams. That's just not smart football.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is vying for his target share with Jalen Tolbert. Like,
Yeah.
are we kidding here?
It's just, I feel like that. I hope like some people don't take this the wrong way, but like wide receivers are just being fucking pussies. They're just they bitch and moan if they don't get the ball. If they they get paid all this money. Like Jamar Chase, like he has his moments where he bitches. CD obviously we see it bitching. I'm not gonna be unbiased like the Eagles. AJ Brown when he says he's open. And he bitches at fucking Jalen Hurts. Like I know they say like, oh, it's nothing, such and such. But, like, seeing what I've been seeing with, like, CD and Dak on the sidelines, it's just, like, you just got paid, both of you just got paid a fuck ton of money this year. I don't know, understand, like, your teammates. There's no need to be arguing over fucking receptions or, like, yardage. You're not playing for a contract. Like, if you're in a contract year, I understand it a little bit, but to argue over, like, stupid shit, like, I don't know why he was screaming at him or anything like that, because no one said anything about it, and when he was asked in the press conference, they both ignored it. So, I find it pointless to just...
You could see there's just a ton of ego on that team, especially in the wide receiver room, and across the NFL, really.
Obviously, as like an Eagle fan, I am so glad this is happening, seeing the Cowboys fall apart slowly but surely. Even though they're winning games, their team is falling apart. Like, the locker room is, like, collapsing. But, like, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised, like, because some wide receivers do this. If they're not happy somewhere, even if they just got paid, they could request a trade. Do I think CD will ever do that? No. But it's very possible that he
I don't see it yet, only because this is the first year of his new deal. Same thing with Dak.
Yeah.
However, we're going to see what Jerry Jones does at the trade deadline. He's always a character.
Oh, yeah.
Especially being that he is also the general manager.
Stupid.
Once again, ton of ego from the top down.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't see it as a problem yet because they are still 3-2. They did win on Monday night. It's this would be a much different conversation, maybe a little bit more heated of a conversation if they lost to the Steelers. But we'll see how it progresses over the next few weeks and if that sort of animosity between those two continues.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. With them, like, if it continues, I purely only brought it up because I think this is the third time this year it happened, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's almost we're 5 weeks through the year and it happened 3 out of the 5 weeks. It happened in New York, well, in East Rutherford, happened against the Ravens, I believe. And then happened this week. It's just like, come on now. Stop being greedy and just play fucking football. At what point is like a team, or like if you're going to grow the fuck up and just like play football, the sport that you love, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it shows immaturity and it shows ego. I think that's really what it comes down to. And I think if you're Dak, you have to be the bigger person and tell him to calm down. We're winning. I don't have to get you the ball every single drive.
Exactly.
You're getting double teamed. You're taking all of this attention. How about we just go out there and I'm going to throw to the open guy rather than forcing it into two people who are covering you and potentially getting an interception.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Well, unfortunately, I'm not sure I want to shit talk the Cowboys. We have to move on from them. And we have to move on to news that happened today. Do you think that Robert Saleh getting fired today was deserved or not?
I do. I think this is one of the most talented Jets teams that they've had in their franchise in a very long time on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. You could even put Mike Williams in there. You could put Braylon Allen in there. You could put their offensive line hasn't been horrific. You really – and their offense looks anemic at that point. I think this is their best opportunity to make some noise and to make something happen, especially because Aaron Rodgers is not getting any younger. When Aaron Rodgers leaves, you're going to have a problem because you have no viable backup option as of right now, and you have no viable plan for after Aaron Rodgers right now. You're all in on this year. So you can't afford to falter, and you can't afford to have these little missteps throughout the year that are going to potentially completely derail your season. So that's why I think it was the smart move, because clearly Saleh was not inspiring good football. When you score 9 points against the Denver Broncos and lose 10-9, I think that's really all that needs to be said, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah. My opinion is I do think that if he had a bad year at the end of this year, he deserved to get fired. That's my opinion. I don't think you should fire the guy. This is This is not Aaron Rodgers. This is Saleh's first year with Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. He had him last year for 13 seconds, and then he had him for 5 games this year. I think. I'm not gonna say firing him because he didn't fire. They parted ways. I feel like they just did it the nice way. I don't know if you saw the fucking articles, but I think it's the most savage move done in GM history. They walked him out of the facility. They didn't let him speak to anyone. They stayed, no press, no nothing. They walked him out, and they pretty much locked the doors behind him.
And honestly, I think that shows that maybe the team just didn't like him. Look, sometimes I get it that if you're an owner, you have to make something happen. You have to make something drastic happen in order to save your season, in order to get the team fired up. Mm-hmm. But the fact that nobody tried to vie for him, nobody went out to speak to him, nobody did anything like that. And you know for a fact, no matter how many times Woody Johnson says it, you can guarantee that Aaron Rodgers had some sort of opinion before this happened.
Oh, 100%. I was just about to say that.
So clearly, maybe this guy wasn't exactly liked in the locker room. And it's not like he did great in years past either. This guy has been on the Jets for 3 years previous to this, and he has not had a winning record once.
I thought he had his first year. I swear I thought they went to the playoffs his first year.
I am almost positive they did not, but I will pull it up in order to ensure that I am not a retard. No, Matt Saleh's record with the Jets is 20-36 over 3 years.
Oh, no, they didn't. Oh, no, they didn't.
No, he's been horrible. There's clearly no inspiration there for a team that has, like I said, some of the best talent they've had in their franchise. Yeah. In their franchise. And especially on top of that, this is it with Aaron Rodgers, like I mentioned earlier. This is it. You got this year, maybe next year with Aaron Rodgers, and that's a very big maybe. Yeah. Because I'm going to be honest with you, he doesn't even look that great this year to begin with. His mobility does not look great, which is obviously going to give him fits trying to get outside the pocket, so when people do rush him and get inside the pocket, there's nowhere to go. This is not the Aaron Rodgers of old. He still has a great arm, but his mobility is definitely decreased. Basically, what I'm trying to say is he hasn't exactly been on the same page with any of his receivers besides Lazard, where he had that former, workaround with him at Green Bay.
And the thing that makes the sense to me is that they didn't play a bad game, I'd say, against the Vikings. The Vikings have been a hot team this year. They played a good defensive game. They didn't win, obviously they didn't win the game, but they still didn't play horrible. I don't think this is the one thing I'll say. I think if he continued what he was doing towards the end of the year, understandable firing. I think it is way too early to fire him. In my opinion, that's how I see it. I don't think firing him this early in the year is going to do anything because now you have Nathaniel Hackett as your interim head coach.
No, it's actually not Nathaniel Hackett. They made their interim head coach the defensive coordinator.
Okay, good. Because if it was Nathaniel Hackett, I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm requesting a trade.
I want to say they made the right move because speaking with a lot of Jets fans that I'm friends with, looking all over social media, Jets fans wanted this. They weren't exactly surprised when this happened. They actually thought it was a good move, and I think that's all you really need to see. Sure, fans can be idiots, and sure, fans can be impulsive, but I think you had to make something impulsive. You're 2-3, and you were expected before the season started to compete for the top of the division.
Yeah.
They have not looked like a division winner so far this year.
But
They haven't even looked like a playoff team this year.
The crazy thing is, though, is that in that division this year, it's still very possible for them to win the division.
It is, which is why I think it was even more of an importance to make a change in order to get you to that point. I don't think they were going to be able to get to that point with Saleh as the head coach.
All right, that's a fair point to make. And I haven't, because not many of my friends are Jets fans, so I haven't spoke to a Jets fan about this. So if Jets fan, I haven't really like been on like X or Twitter looking at it, but like from me seeing it as like a non-Jets fan and like I don't know like what goes on like with them, I'm shocked because I didn't see him like being that bad, and he just got Aaron Rodgers. But hey, obviously he parted ways. Hope he finds like a job with like a high school team or something, so he doesn't.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Why would you wish that upon him?
I hope he's not jobless. Hope he gets a job. But
he got paid. Screw him.
Yeah, he did get paid a lot of money. I forgot.
Yep.
He got paid a lot of money.
And he's still going to get paid for next year. He had one more year on his deal.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
So he doesn't even have to work next year.
I know. Fuck him. He can go fuck himself.
All right, there we go. Now we're on the same page.
All right. So moving on with this, we gotta talk about our Week 6 picks.
Yay!
Your favorite thing in the world, Dean. You can maybe get redemption on yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I want you to start off. I want you to start off with a good one, and on a good note.
Me? A good note?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to try here, okay? My first pick, and this is going to be bold.
Oh, no. Every single time you say this, it never ends up good for you. Like, I'm not kidding. It's horrible every single time.
I am going to take the Cleveland Browns plus 8.5.
This guy is fucking stupid!
Against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Are you fucking stupid?
Plus 8.5. That's a lot of points, Derek.
Dude, this is not even unbiased. I think the Eagles might score fucking 42 on them. I'm not even kidding.
I don't see it that way. I think the Eagles have been lackluster this year to begin with as well.
But the thing is, Dean, this is the one thing. All right, this is the one thing I'll say to you. If the Eagles have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, or one of them, during this game, it's going to be 8+. It's going to be a 10+ score difference. In my opinion.
I don't give a shit. I already made my pick. Browns plus 8.5. Book it.
You're stupid. Well, at least I know that my Eagles are going to win because you did this.
Fuck
so I appreciate it. I'm going to go with my first pick. It's kind of a bold one. It's actually very bold, actually. In a tough game, the Ravens versus the Commanders, shockingly, in my opinion, the Ravens are favored to win this game.
By 6.5.
Despite how good the Commanders are playing. So I'm taking the Commanders plus 6.5.
Very nice. I like it. I fucks with it.
All right.
All right. My second pick, I am going to finally go against the New England Patriots. I am taking the Houston Texans -7.
Jesus fucking Christ.
With Drake May starting his first game in New England. I think the kid is going to be rattled a little bit. I think he's going to get touched inappropriately when sacked.
Jesus Christ.
And I think the Houston Texans rout the shit out of the New England Patriots.
That should happen. I don't agree with it. Like,
it should, but because I took it, it won't. So we're going to move on.
Dude, I'm not kidding. If I see the Patriots win that game, I'm just going to die. I'll die of laughter. Oh, my God.
There's no way it's happening. I can't see it.
I can't see either, but hey, anything's possible too. I'm going to go with I think it's probably the game of the week. The Cowboys versus the Lions. Pretty good game. Very competitive. Had a competitive game last year. I'm gonna take the Lions -3.5.
Very nice. Okay. I am going to try and be bold.
Oh, no.
Bold and brass.
You might go 0 for 3.
as my friends SpongeBob and Squidward once said, bold and brass, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus
I am
fucking
going to
Christ.
go with another 1 o'clock game. I am going to go the Arizona Cardinals +5 against the Packers.
I call it bold and brash.
More like belongs in the trash.
I like it.
Fuck.
The reason why I like it is because that was one of my picks.
Woohoo!
So I think that I took the Cardinals +5.5 not 5.5 +5. I honestly think that they're just gonna win the game flat out, but that's just me. I think they're gonna win the game flat out and absolutely not rout. I believe it's in Green Bay. I do think that Kyler and Jordan Love is gonna have a great competitive game, but I think the Cardinals do win this by like 10 and they cover the spread.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. See, we're on the same page for once, Derek. How does it feel?
The thing is, now I know that I'm guaranteed a loss.
All right. How about you go fuck yourself? All right. Look, sure, I've had some bad picks over the last couple of weeks. Get over it. It's only up from here.
Dude, when we hit week 8, Dean, we're going to do an overview on what our record is with our locks
Jesus.
included.
See, that could be an issue because I haven't been keeping track, nor do I want to keep in track.
Oh, I know that I'm positive by, I think, 4.
You're going to have to go back into the videos and look at all of our picks and make some dedicated sheets or have maybe our Astound editor do that. But
Yeah.
I personally don't want to keep track because I think it would only make me even more depressed.
Fair enough. All right, let's hear your lock, Dean.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. My lock of the week is the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
I think the Steelers played a very winnable game against Dallas this past week. I think the Raiders are just not good. They do have a good coach. They have a team that really does believe in that coach. However, I just truly do not think they could even come close to competing with the Steelers, especially as whoever it is at quarterback, whether it be Minshew or McConnell, I don't even care. I think the Steelers outright win this game. I'm taking them as my lock of the week.
That's a good lock of the week, and I honestly do think that's going to win because the Raiders are kind of falling apart, I'd say.
Thank you.
So I feel like that should be a guaranteed win for the Steelers, and it'll be a good bounce-back win for them.
Yep.
My lock of the week, I'm purely taking them because of the news I heard prior to us making this podcast, is I'm taking the Bucks as my lock, purely because Derek Carr is expected to be out multiple weeks with his oblique injury.
Yep.
And it's going to be hard for him to bring in a backup. It would be cool to see Rattler come in, but
yes.
I don't think so. I think he's the QB3, and the quarterback who stepped in last night is the quarterback too. I don't know exactly, but I do think that the Bucks are going to have a comeback win after a tough loss against the Falcons, and I think they're going to win that game.
I think that's a very good lock of the week, to be honest. I mean, just having Carr out, that entire offense now is in turmoil in the Saints. You're 100% correct, so I do like that.
The only person who they should be afraid of is Kamara. And,
Well, of course. That goes without saying.
Yeah. All right, now we got to move on to, I think, a very cool segment that you created, the Baller of the Week.
Yes. Okay, I know I've said in multiple of these weeks now as we're leading up to this can be world news, this can be sports, this could be whatever your heart desires in this beautiful world, Derek.
Yes.
However,
You're staying with sports.
I'm going to stay with sports
You're
for
such a...
just another week until I see something gorgeous in the world. Derek, the world is not gorgeous.
It's not at all.
I am going to go to baseball and stay in the spirit of October baseball, playoff baseball. My ball of the week is going to be one person. It's not going to be a team. It's going to be one person, and his name is Tarek Skubal.
I like it.
For anybody who doesn't know, this is going to be unanimous American League Cy Young Award winner. He is the pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, who has carried them throughout the last month and a half of the year. He went into Houston, pitched an absolute gem to get them a Game 1 win, which set the tone for the rest of the series. And then on top of that, down 1-0 against the Cleveland Guardians, he went into Cleveland for Game 2 and pitched another 7-inning gem to tie the series. He is quite literally their entire team. He is their focal point. He's keeping them together. He's keeping them in games. He's keeping them in series. He is my ball of the week. The guy is a stud. And if he continues, you do not want to verse him in the playoffs.
I agree. That was a great one. But a little bit of some sucking his dick, but I respect it.
Hey, sometimes you got to gargle, man.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right. I'm gonna stick to baseball. Because obviously October baseball, the best time of year for baseball. Right. I do hate this team with every fiber of my being.
Attaboy.
But I do have to. It's to a certain player. I have to give it to Pete Alonso.
Yes, Big Meat Pete.
Even though it did happen last Thursday, it was a clutch home run that he hit to pretty much send them to the NLDS.
Yeah.
And potentially he's still playing very good against the Phillies. He's still being the Pete he is. So just him coming up clutch when they need him the most, I think nothing more to describe a baller than that.
Love it. Big Meat Pete stick coming in large for the New York Metropolitans. He did get a home run again today, so I like it. Ballers of the week, ladies and gentlemen. We went with October baseball this time around. Hopefully, maybe there will be something pretty in the world to talk about next week, but let's be honest, everybody. There probably won't be.
It's coming to the end of the world, pretty much.
God, I hope so.
Jesus Christ. All right, to get away from this sad topic, I'm going to sign us out. This was Double D Podcast, Episode 6. Like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all the sorts. Next week, I do want to talk about more sports, NHL, back with baseball and football. It's going to be an action-packed episode next week. Good to talk to you guys. Have fun. Peace.